What if the ETF you've been told is the safest path to wealth is actually slowing you down? I remember this moment back in late 2023. The market was on fire. QQQ, the big tech ETF everyone loves, had just bounced back from a brutal crash the year before. Social media was full of screenshots. Look, I'm up 40% this year. This is all you need, bro. Just buy QQQ and chill. But here's what changed everything for me. I pulled up the long-term chart. Yes, QQQ had been strong over the last 10 years, around 19% annually, but something bothered me. When I looked deeper, I saw a pattern. It wasn't just tech driving returns. It was a handful of mega-cap names, the same names already sitting at the top of everyone's portfolio. I started thinking, if all my returns depend on the same 5 companies, what happens when they stall? That's when I stopped chasing what was hot and started building toward what was next. And in this video, I'm going to show you 4 ETFs that aren't just riding the AI wave, they're powering it underneath the surface. Not headlines, not hype. These are the infrastructure ETFs, the overlooked sectors funding the next decade of growth. More importantly, I'll show you exactly how I use them in my real-life edge portfolio without going all in, without blowing up my freedom timeline, and without betting my future on market momentum. Because this isn't about beating QQQ for bragging rights. It's about positioning yourself early and intelligently before the rest of the market wakes up. Let's dive in. The QQQ trap. Why big returns still feel like you're losing. You ever feel like you're doing everything right but still losing? That's exactly how I felt during QQQ's wild ride in 2022 and 2023. One year it drops over 30%, gut-wrenching. The next, it rebounds over 50%, and everyone online suddenly feels like a genius again. Here's the emotional trap. We only remember the wins, but we feel the losses way more. On paper, sure, QQQ has had an impressive run over the past decade, averaging about 19% a year if you held tight the whole time. But in real life, very few people did, because the ride isn't smooth. It's violent. It's full of moments where you check your account and wonder, should I sell? Should I wait? What if this crashes again? That's the hidden cost of high-return, high-volatility strategies. They don't just mess with your money, they mess with your mind. And that's where I realized the real conflict isn't what's the best ETF. It's freedom versus the FOMO trap. Freedom, for me, means structure, a portfolio I can trust when the market's green and when it's bleeding red, something that grows but also lets me sleep at night. The FOMO trap? That's the portfolio that changes every 12 months, chasing whatever just had a big year, buying high, selling low, repeating the cycle and calling it strategy. So I stopped asking what beat QQQ last year and started asking where is the next decade of cash flows being quietly built right now? Because real wealth isn't built on hype, it's built on systems. And that's what we're doing now. Let me show you the exact system I use, the one that helped me stop chasing and start compounding. It's called the Core Edge Freedom Map. It's not fancy, it's just clear. Core is the foundation. This is where I keep my broad ETFs like VOO, VTI, maybe dividend pairs like SCHD or VYM. I call this my paycheck protector, the part of my portfolio that I'd trust to run quietly in the background for decades. If the market shut down tomorrow and didn't reopen for 5 years, this is what I'd want to be holding. Edge is where the opportunity lives, but also where you need guardrails. This is where I allocate a smaller intentional slice into targeted ETFs tied to long-term themes. AI, robotics, smart grid infrastructure, data center expansion. These aren't short-term bets, they're long-cycle tilts toward where innovation is being monetized behind the scenes. The 4 ETFs we're about to break down, they live exclusively in this edge bucket. They're never 100% of the portfolio, ever. Because here's the truth, you could pick the best performing ETF of the next decade and still lose money if your structure is broken.
So don't skip this next part, because if you get the allocation wrong, even the smartest ETF ideas can wreck your sleep, your strategy, and your shot at freedom. ETF number 1, the tech engine that can quietly outrun QQQ. There's one ETF in my portfolio that's so boring, so consistent, and so powerful, I almost forgot how good it really is. It's a pure play tech fund, but without the chaos. It doesn't try to be flashy, it doesn't chase themes, it just tracks real companies building real systems: cloud, semiconductors, enterprise software, chips, data infrastructure. If you want growth, real compounding growth, but don't want to live in a meme stock casino, this is the one I always come back to. Here's how it differs from QQQ. QQQ includes non-tech sectors like consumer discretionary and communications, names like Pepsi, Costco, and even Zoom. This fund? It's 100% U.S. information technology, nothing else. But it's still diversified within tech. Think Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Broadcom, Oracle, AMD, and dozens more. So it's not one story, it's the engine room of the digital economy. And the fee? It's cheaper than QQQ. You're paying about 0.10% versus around 0.20% for QQQ. That might sound small, but over 10 or 20 years, those costs compound just like your returns do. Now here's what really got me. If you'd held this fund for the last 10 years, just quietly let it run, your average annual return would have been about 21–22%, which is actually a bit better than QQQ's 19%. Not every year, but across the decade. So by the end of this section, here's what you need to ask yourself. Do I want broad tech exposure that's leaner, cheaper, and a little more focused? Or do I stick with the big brand ETF that gets all the attention? Because this tech engine doesn't need a spotlight. It's already outrunning the hype, quietly.
Let me paint a picture. Every time someone runs an AI model, it triggers a chain reaction. More GPUs, more servers, more heat, more cooling, and more electricity. Behind every AI prompt, there's a real-world infrastructure problem, and someone's getting paid to solve it. That's where this next ETF comes in. Most investors are chasing the next ChatGPT or NVIDIA. The quiet money? It's going into companies building transformers, transmission lines, smart meters, power management systems, and the software that keeps the grid from breaking. This ETF gives you exposure to the infrastructure side of the AI revolution, not the flash, the foundation. It includes companies upgrading aging grids across the US and beyond, modernizing how power flows to massive data centers, EV chargers, and smart cities. And here's the kicker. While everyone's watching utilities ETFs like XLU or betting on broad market ETFs like VOO, this one, it's been quietly outperforming both over the last few years, with stronger 1-, 3-, and 5-year returns. I'll show you the comparison later in this video. This isn't about hype cycles. It's about owning the systems that will get funded no matter who wins the AI race. Because without grid stability, none of it works. So, ask yourself, are you chasing the logo on the AI app or owning the cable that lets it work in the first place? Let's keep going. The next one might be even more important. ETF number 3. The data center landlord of the AI gold rush. Every time you ask ChatGPT a question, stream a movie on Netflix, or upload a video to YouTube, you're paying rent. Not in dollars, in data. Behind the scenes, all that digital activity passes through massive data centers, warehouses filled with servers, cables, cooling systems, and connections that never stop running, and someone owns all of it. That's what this ETF lets you tap into. It doesn't try to guess which AI stock will win the next hype cycle. Instead, it owns the infrastructure, the real estate, towers, fiber networks, and interconnection points that power everything online. It's called DTCR, And for me, it's one of the cleanest ways to link real estate-style income to AI-driven growth. Here's why that matters. The dream most people chase is this: I'll find the next small AI stock and ride it to 10x. But the reality is, most people pick wrong or bail out during the first drawdown. I'd rather own the digital landlords. Companies like Equinix and Digital Realty, two of the largest holdings in DTCR, lease out space to the biggest tech firms on Earth. Amazon, Google, Meta, they all pay these companies to house and move their data. And as AI workloads explode, the demand for space, power, and bandwidth inside these centers is only going up. So, while everyone's trying to pick the next AI app, this ETF lets you quietly collect rent from all of them. That's why DTCR lives in my Edge portfolio. It's not as flashy as QQQ, but in a world where data is rent, it owns the real estate.
I'll be real with you. This next ETF, it's the only one in this video that I mentally brace myself every time I open my portfolio. But it's also the one that excites me the most, in small doses. This fund is my moonshot slice, the piece of my Edge portfolio that leans all in on the future. Robotics, autonomous vehicles, drone logistics, space tech, 3D printing, and the AI that glues it all together. It's called ARKQ, and it's not for the faint of heart. Here's the thing. A lot of people believe if it's innovative, I should go all in. That's the myth. The truth, if it's innovative, I should respect the volatility and size it so that a 50% drawdown doesn't derail my entire plan. Because ARKQ has seen drops that steep, but it's also had years where it's exploded back up. It's not about whether it's good or bad, it's about whether you're using it intentionally. This ETF focuses on companies you won't usually find at the top of QQQ or VGT, names like Palantir, Archer Aviation, Joby Aviation, and other disruptive players who might reshape the next 10 to 20 years or disappear. That's why ARKQ, for me, is a small slice, not the centerpiece. It lives in my Edge moonshot bucket. I don't rely on it, I don't overallocate, but I do keep it in the mix, because if that disruption wave hits, I want to be holding a piece of it. And now that we've covered all 4 ETFs, from the steady tech engine to the grid, the data center play, and the moonshot slice, the real enemy, behavior, not ETFs. Let's talk about the real risk here, and it's not the ETFs, it's us. I've seen it over and over. Investor A chases whatever ETF just popped on TikTok or YouTube. They go all in, it dips 20%, and they bail out before it rebounds. Then they move on to the next hot idea, and repeat. Investor B, they build a simple core plus edge plan. They pick their themes, they set their contributions, and they just let it run. 10 years later, Investor B may not have the wildest screenshots, but they're the one with options, freedom, and peace of mind. That's why this video isn't really about crushing QQQ. It's about not crushing yourself, chasing what just worked. Discipline beats alpha, structure beats FOMO, and boring, consistent investors usually win. If this video helped calm the hype and give you a real roadmap, tap like. It helps this kind of content reach more serious long-term investors like you. And if you're building a real wealth plan, not a get-rich-quick scheme, hit subscribe. So if that's the goal, freedom, income, clarity, I'll see you in that one.